recorded live from Random Secret Studios in Philadelphia and across the Delaware Valley.
I'm the Capo. He's the Prez.
And this is Sons of Ben, the pod. Adam and Devin, welcome back to what can only be called episode number. Now, are you ready for this, Adam?
What is
One Ricky Batalico.
The angriest member of any post-game live show in the history of Philadelphia. I love me some Ricky Bo. No one lays into a bullpen that has just blown a save like Ricky Batalico.
And some of that anger could be because of who his employer is, and this will tie into our guest because she's had some experience with that said organization. So, ladies and gentlemen, our guest is a journalist that hails from Council Rock South. She is an alumni of one Mr. Zachary McMath's University of Maryland. She's Union Hulk's leading lady, the apple of Fang's eye, the first lady of the Philadelphia Union. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the one and only Marisa Pilla to the Sons of Ben the Pod.
Oh, guys, that was such a nice intro. Thank you.
I was waiting for first of her name. I was waiting for all the other accolades. Just like Seer of Seas.
Yeah, I was thinking first of her name, but we did that for Aronson, so, you know, we'll...
That is true. That is true. Even though I'm not going to lie to you, though, it's going to be either between Marisa and Alex Holly for Fang's Eye there. So, you know, he goes...
Yeah.
He gets on Fox 29 a lot and be sending those Valentines. So he might be on the side with you, Marisa. I'm not going to lie.
I kind of had a hunch there, so, yeah.
He's a player for only like 3 years old. He's a player. So, Marisa, thank you for jumping on what we call the weekly train wreck of Sons of Ben the Pod.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
And the one thing I couldn't fit in because your resume is so long now, I wanted to figure out how I throw in sideline reporter for the NWSL and the host of, and Adam, listen to this, the 5-star rated Apple iTunes Pilla Talk. Yes. I don't think we got a 5-star rating. But she's got
do
a
we have a
rating.
Star?
I'm going to go give you a 5-star rating right now.
We have less stars than Red Bull. So you know.
So to peel the curtain back, I think we have one review, and it's from Jeff Mitchell. So there's
so it's 5 stars.
How many stars do we get from
5
Mitchell?
Stars. We're actually going to have 6. To be real
Thank
with
you, Jeff. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mitchell.
All right, Devin, I will do the housekeeping as quick as possible so we can get into this so you don't yell at us. And Marisa, if you've heard this, I guess you know you are now owed a beer because we have Beer the Pod, Yards 2SP in the Larimer. And before COVID, we were in a nice little studio, a.k.a. Adam's office, and we always had beers provided by our sponsors.
Way to peel behind the curtain there, Wizard of Oz. You were the Center City bunker has now been exposed, and now we're like, all right, cool.
Nobody knows that you even work, Adam.
That's true. People just think I'm actually a capo full time, so I understand that.
So everybody remember Yards 2SP, the Larimer, support those guys that support us. Sons of Ben News, time to renew. I screwed this up last week, but the 2021 member kit, at least the scarf, has been released, and it was Andrew Gerber was the member that designed the scarf. So I wanted to thank him. It looks really great. Also, thanks to Ryan Bross, who took the design from Andrew and got it to fit within the parameters of the scarf and what the guys in England need to make that happen. But it looks awesome. So, sonsofben.com, make sure you jump on and renew so you can get your scarf and other items that are TBD. Off season, we are definitely getting to work. We'll have some announcements soon, but with the schedule slowly coming out, we're hopefully going to be announcing some travel and tailgate news, but that's all COVID dependent. But we've got some exciting stuff for if we are allowed to travel. So that announcement will happen. And Adam, I've got to pitch it. World Cup 2026. www.philadelphia2026.com.
It's got to happen.
We're trying to bring it to Philly, so get out there and pledge your support. Adam, you can talk about this. Drunken Union Zoom. Still going on because I tried to get an invite last week. Jared just must have overlooked me or something. Didn't get an invite.
Wait, wow. You got big timed by Jared. That's where we're at now.
I guess I haven't been on in a month.
Lancashire, Pennsylvania. He is now big timing us. I don't even know how that works. But all right, okay, cool. No, it's been cool. I actually hopped on at like 10:30, had myself a late night cameo. But it was cool. You know, it's still going strong. You know, you got the usual suspects there, just talking shop. And now that we're getting closer to the season, you know, it's not just random talks about who got a nice jersey from Forward Madison this week. It's actually some deep union discussion. I'm here for it.
Marissa, have you gotten harassed by Union Twitter to be part of this yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's coming.
I can't say I'm not. I'm a little offended.
Well, you and I can be offended together. Thanks a lot, Jared. Good work.
2 days from now, you will get so many text messages and tweets from after someone listens to this. They'll be like, "Oh no, yeah. What have I gotten myself into?"
Fridays at 7:30, just drunken Union happy hour. But it is
sounds like a good time.
Yeah, it's usually anchored by one Mr. Jonathan Tannenwald.
You know what? I think I was invited, but I happened to be doing the game broadcast that day. So I couldn't drink because I was working because I'm a professional. So those are
that's
one of the few rules I abide by.
That's a shot to one Mr. Sebastian Latou.
Or, you know, Harry Callis back in the day. But hey, what are we talking about?
And Devin, last piece of housekeeping before we get to our guest. Go for it, man. Sons of Ben Discord, what's going on?
I really don't have too much news on the Discord this week, but it's there. We're talking in there. As Adam said, you know, things are starting to pick up now. That's the first place I got the notification that the dates came out for this season. So, I mean, it is a hefty source of Union news and soccer news for sure.
Discord be breaking news. Like it's basically our own JT is these random sleuths on the Discord. I appreciate Union fans because they will be the one fan base in Philadelphia that actually scoops the journalist because they will just be like going through tweets in like Romania and like translating them and then trying to go on Google, be like, we might be getting a center back, you know?
Yep.
All right, finally, what we've been waiting for to get to talk to our guests. So, Marissa, a little history. I feel like the three of us know you, but maybe not everybody in the Sons of Ben world know you besides being the voice on the sideline. How do you go from CB South? Yeah, it was Council Rock. Council Rock South,
CR,
University of Maryland, to our Philadelphia Union. Can you kind of bring that all together?
Sure. Yeah, I grew up in Bucks County. I grew up obviously a Philly sports fan. It's not really a choice. It's kind of indebted on you at birth. I think we all understand that. I grew up too. My dad was an immigrant. He moved here from Italy in the 70s, and obviously soccer was a huge part of his life. He played semi-pro in Philly and in Delaware in the 70s, and he kind of instilled that love of the game in me and my siblings. And I played competitively through high school. I played also competitive volleyball and basketball, so sports were always a big part of my life. I knew I didn't want to pursue sports in college, and I always enjoyed writing. I always enjoyed storytelling, and I was lucky enough to have a broadcasting class in high school. And my teacher kind of told me, hey, I think you can kind of be good at this. And that's all I guess I needed to hear. And I just applied to the best broadcast schools I could get into, which brought me to the University of Maryland. And there, I just really tried to be as involved in broadcasting as I could. I covered field hockey games, and I did a report on the Quidditch team. Anything I could get my hands on at Maryland, I did. I had tons of internships. I stayed in Maryland after I graduated, and then eventually I was able to come back home. And it was such an amazing opportunity, not just to come back home, but come back and cover a sport that was really my first love. And what got me into sports with soccer. And that's kind of how I ended up with the Union. And it's been just so much fun to be part of this team. And it's always really fun to enjoy their successes along with them and to enjoy it all with the fans and everything. Yeah.
As a proud alum of Towson University, I just have to say safety school. But other than that,
my husband went to Towson.
See, look, there's the brains. That's what
Matthew,
we like to hear.
Mama Booth went to the University of Maryland, so you leave the Terrapins alone. That is a sacred university in this household.
It's a great school. I loved it there.
It's a
College
good
Park all
time. We
day.
call that a party school at Towson.
Yeah, yeah.
So with the union, and this is, I don't want to date anybody. Is this your 5th year or 6th?
I just finished my 5th year.
Wow.
Right? I think so.
Yeah, I think it is.
I think I did.
5th.
Yeah, I think it was this. I just finished my 5th. So it's been some time now. It's kind of crazy.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, like, so we're talking 2016ish, 2015,
Yes.
2016. And without getting yourself in trouble, what changes have you seen with the team, whether it's broadcast, the team on the field? Like, we talk about it all the time as long-suffering Union fans. From I had season tickets since the first year of 2010, and just it's been like 10 different evolutions of this team. So I think anybody that's listens to this loves to hear other people's thoughts. So what was your since 15, 16? They were kind of dark times.
Yeah, I kind of came in a weird transition period for the team. And of course, I always followed, but I was living in Maryland. I was covering the NBA at the time. So my main focus was really watching not only NBA, but college basketball to kind of stay in that loop as well. So for maybe 2.5 years previous to taking this job, my whole life was NBA, college basketball, maybe a little college football. So to kind of really dive deep back into soccer and the depth I had to, I realized, the team was in a period of transition, and Ernie Stewart had just took over. And it was a very big change kind of on that end too, in the front office. McDermott took over too. It was just a lot of what felt like tidying up an organization and somebody finally putting things in order and making things fit right. Now, I wasn't there previously, but I remember people who had been there for a very long time saying, this is really different to what we used to do, but in a good way, that it was way more organized. There was way more of a direct kind of vision. And I think that's really what 2016 for me kind of being involved was. They really wanted to create not a new identity, but solidify the identity and solidify what they want it to be. And make sure that they stood by that. And I think that had to do with marketing and social media, but also the product on the field and what you saw out of Jim and all of that. And just to see Jim Curtin too, from how I met him back in 2016 to, where he is now and the incredible season he's had. And even talking to players, like I talk to Seba a lot when we're doing games, and he just said, this is such a different team. It's very different from what he felt. And two, how cool is it that when I got there, Seba was still on the team and now Seba's on the broadcast team. So that's a whole other change too, because in the midst, he was let go. He was traded away. And I know that was heartbreaking for him on one end. It was heartbreaking for the fans too, but to have him back in that capacity too kind of makes everything feel a little more full circle.
It is great talking to him because he'll give you that perspective of, and I just remember this, and Adam, you might have been with me at the time, the game that we clinched the Shield.
Yeah.
We all were at the Larimer, and Seba's in line waiting to get a beer, and one fan's just kind of trying to bust the stones going, why didn't you ever get us one of these? And he goes, are you kidding me? If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have all this. We were practicing in a public park.
We should have thrown that person into the Delaware. What the stones on that human? My God.
So, like I said, he was thinking he's going to be clever and funny, and the way Sebastian just shut him down, you felt like the lady from Game of Thrones was behind him with a bell. Shame. Oh, it was this guy just didn't get a beer, just went, okay, bye, I'm leaving, and then snuck back in. Like,
Union fans get ethered so often, and I feel bad sometimes, but they're just like they puff their chest out for a second, and then they get to hit with reality, and they're like, okay, retreat.
Yeah. So hearing Sebastian's stories, like we had him on, and wow, the stuff that went on beforehand and the evolution. So as a fan, we're like, oh, good. But yeah, we love hearing about that, and someday when we're not recording this, we'll have to trade some stories back and forth because there's got to be a tell-all book someday.
I'm sure someone's got to be working on it.
Yeah. Now, you are in the media in Philadelphia, which is the 4th largest media market. What are your thoughts on how Philadelphia covers this team? I mean, we've got our thoughts on our own, and we can get into. But
I mean, I think I echo a lot of people where I would love more coverage. I think, it's hard because anytime I do see people who show up at important times, of course I welcome them. Like, yes, like this is important. Thank you for realizing them winning the supporter shield is important. Thank you for realizing that this push to the playoffs is important. But it's also important to be here at other times. It's important to be here in those like dog days of summer when those games in June and July seem to just be grinding out, and it's like there's 70 days within like 1 month, it feels like sometimes in the summer. It's tough. You need to be there for those moments too. And I think the media we do have that pays attention, like the Jonathan Tannenwalds, the Matt DeGeorges, like all of them, they do such an incredible job. The beat reporters on this scene are, I think, some of the best in the country, because I also cover MLS as a whole for Fox. And when I do that, I'm covering teams that I'm not so ingrained in. Maybe I'm covering Portland, maybe I'm covering Houston. And I rely on beat reporters to really catch me up to speed. And I have to say, Philly's beat reporters go so in depth, and the work they do is really, really incredible. Not just the quality, but the quantity. They're able to pump out a lot of stories and get a lot of stories out. And I think that is kind of what's lacking in soccer coverage as a whole, is understanding that there are so many storylines in this sport. Something is always happening in this world. And the fact that people aren't trying to milk that for all it's worth is a little frustrating, because I, as a soccer fan, want to see more soccer news that is catered to an American soccer fan. And I love hearing European soccer news. Like, I love watching Champions League and Premier League and Serie A. Like, I love all of that. But also, I want to know what's happening here, and I want to get it more often than I am. And I think a lot of people feel that way. So I think Philly, I think there's a lot of pros and cons, but like as you said, for being such a big media market and all of that, I think the bigger eyes could be on us more often. But I have to give props to the beat reporters, because I mean, they're there day in and day out covering this game really, really well.
No, and we're always grateful for Tannenwald and Joe Tansey and Matt Ralph and even, dare I say it, Adam, even Kevin Kincaid. No, we love Kevin.
He's all right.
But and even all the pods. When we discussed doing a pod, we're like, is there room for another union pod? Because there's so many that we're
the
like,
answer is
should
no.
we do this? Yeah, it's
no, it's yes. I mean, you can never have too much content.
Look, I keep
you should have
people
talked to us 3 weeks ago, and we couldn't scrounge up one piece of content.
The dog days of December. What you gonna do? You know.
Yeah. So you made a big switch, or not switch, but I don't know how to describe it. Not a promotion, just you, like anyone else in media, another job. You're now covering the NWSL. One, how does that come about? And two, what was life inside the Utah bubble?
Oh, wow. Oh, the bubble. There's still things that give me like PTSD flashbacks to the bubble if I like hear certain songs or like eat
or
certain
just Utah.
meals. Yeah, it was a lot of suburban Utah for an entire month. And I had never been to Utah before. So I'll tell you, that altitude is no joke. We always kind of like, how much can that altitude really play a factor? Like the first 2 days, I thought I was, not to be dramatic, I thought I had COVID because I couldn't breathe and I was really tired and achy. And then it finally hit me that I had altitude, like not sickness, but I was really sensitive to it because all of my COVID tests were coming back negative. I'm like, I feel really crappy. And then I had nosebleeds on the sidelines before games. So, that was really fun. But the bubble was an interesting experience. I think you don't really know what to expect until you're in it. And we were really the first people to go into that bubble. But it was tough because we had double headers, but back-to-back days. So 4 games in 2 days. So the 4 day, and then maybe you had 2 days off in between, and then again 4 games in 2 days. So my prep cycle was just kind of a revolving door. I went to a game, I ate, I slept, I prepped for the game, I came back, I watched Schitt's Creek, I ate, I slept, and it was just recycling and recycling and recycling. It was an incredible experience. It was a lot of fun. I got to know these players and teams on such a different level. but yeah, it was tough. By the end of it, I was just ready to come back to Philly, face the humidity, and kind of have good pizza for the first time in a while. But yeah, I was really excited to get to be part of NWSL again this past season. My first season was in 2019, and I had been covering the drafts for them in previous years, covering their draft day coverage, and that's a really long, exciting day. And finally, when they switched over, 2019 was in for ESPN, and they were looking for a new sideline reporter, and I got to travel the country with them and go all these cities I haven't been to before and experience these great fan bases. And I really love being a part of it. It's such a great league. I'm glad it's getting the eyeballs it deserves, because yes, of course, there's national team members, but there's some incredible talent in this league that it just shows how deep the talent pool is for the national team, because some of these athletes could be starting on any other national team. It's just so deep in our country, and it's great that people are finally starting to kind of give it its due.
That was one of my questions. Is like, from the outside, we look at it and it's like, it seems like NWSL is starting to grow, and I mean, obviously along with MLS as well. But it seems like NWSL, especially after the last World Cup, it seemed like it was getting the attention it deserved. Is that something you see, from the inside as well?
Yeah, I think so. I can tell players are definitely feeling like there's more eyeballs on them in a good way, and that they can reach more people, and that their game is respected. And at the end of the day, I think that's what everybody wants. And it's not just to get those World Cup bumps. It's to be a respected league every year, not just in World Cup years. Of course, I know we're heading into the Olympics this summer, and that's a whole different story, but it's just to have it be continual and not just get spikes every couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're on that way because of these big broadcast deals and on Twitch too, not even just on regular cable.
Yeah.
Our Twitch numbers, I know, are off the charts. And it's so great too, because people can interact with the broadcast on Twitch, and that's a really cool element. So that has been huge too. And these fans in NWSL are incredible. They're super passionate. If you're not a fan of an NWSL team, I highly suggest you go pick one, because you really can't go wrong. There's something to enjoy about all of them, and enjoying that incredible fan base.
Yeah, and to speak of the fan base, every year the Sons of Ben, we go to ISC, the Independent Supporters Council, and every year I'm more impressed by the groups that are supporting NWSL teams, just the way, and some of that's, the Rosie Riveters is under the Timber Army umbrella, but even Sky Blue, and what they have to put up, what they had to put up with in Rutgers and all that, and then this is just incredible with how organized they are, how passionate. Where, now that we're in the MLS, as supporters, we look at everybody else as, oh, they're minor league team. No, they've got their shit together, and they bring it where we're excited to go. This past year, we were going to go to a Sky Blue game when they were playing Chicago, and we were going to try to get what's probably a former tight end of the Eagles to go with us on the bus. The calls were made, and then we couldn't make that trip. So we're hoping to do that this year, is to bring the Sons of Ben to a Sky Blue game to watch
that would be great.
Yeah, so they're great. I just can't wait to get to a game. We just haven't been able to get to one.
Oh yeah, no, they're great. And like you said, Cloud9 has done so much for that team, because it's no secret what Sky Blue went through a couple years ago with everything, and in terms of poor conditions and just the players not getting what they deserved. They weren't even bathrooms at their training facilities. They were playing at a college stadium. Now they're playing at Red Bull Arena, which they get so many tickets for. I remember we were at a game, and it was OL Reign and Sky Blue, and it was nearly a sellout on like a random day in the summer, and it was not on short notice too for that game. So it's just incredible, because it's kind of like the Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. If you give them this stadium, if you give them this opportunity, the fans will come and support.
Yeah, and the irony of that is they didn't have bathrooms, but their one owner owned Bed Bath and Beyond. Just you put it all together. Just it's.
They only got access to the World Bazaar. They didn't get access to much other facilities.
So this question is from one Adam Christopher Booth. do you think Philadelphia has room in the market for NWSL team?
I definitely do. I would love to see an NWSL team come to Philadelphia. I think there's just a ton of talent that comes out of here, especially on the women's side and South Jersey, the Philadelphia suburbs, Delaware. A lot of girls and women who grew up playing from this area who would love a hometown team to cheer for. Because let's be honest, coming from Philly doesn't always feel natural to root for a New Jersey or DC team, and I feel you on that. I know what you mean. So yeah, I definitely think so, and I think Philly would be a really attractive city for players to want to play in. You know, they know that there's a fan base here. They know it's a bigger city. It's a great market, and there's a lot of resources here for them.
Hold on. That was a disingenuous question by Matthew, because I myself already knew the answer to that question. It's a hell yes. Philadelphia can and should be operating a women's soccer team in Philadelphia. It makes zero sense to me. It made zero sense that it took MLS 14 years to decide, that Philadelphia place, we could do something there. There's like 1.5 million people just in that city. Maybe we can figure something out. No. Columbus, Ohio. That's where we're going to put our stakes in it. No, I'm over here with the philosophy that the fact that Philadelphia continues to be overlooked by women's athletics in the modern era is one of the more baffling things to me and just North American sports as a whole. You should have a women's basketball team in the place that gives you every single great women's basketball player and women's basketball coach. Just all of them come from here. So it's uncanny how much we're producing talent in that field. Look, just name a sport, we probably have the premier athlete or close to the premier athlete in said sport coming from the Delaware Valley. So it just, the hell, this is my answer to that. But I know truly what has to happen, and that is me, what I do almost every week on this podcast when the NWSL is brought up, is I try to find a multimillionaire, if not billionaire, and beg him from a small chunk of his or her percentages of their finances to make me make a dream come true.
I can't believe you haven't found someone. That sounds so simple.
Look, I hit 3 of the owners of the union already, and I'm just saying this seems like an easy thing. This just seems like a boom boom. We even put them in Chester for a minute until they truly grow and get the Center City facility that they deserve, and then we move from there. I just got dreams. That's I can
tell. You have your Shark Tank pitch all prepared.
I've been Adam, working on it for 6 years, so yeah.
I think you were calling on Richard, Richie, and Rob. They were the 3 people you're now calling out because they do listen.
Oh, yeah. And look, eventually when we get the man, the myth, the legend, the Sugarman on here, that's when I'm really going to put the full court press on this. Like grills and hot coals to the fire. You can buy a Crystal Palace, but you can't put a women's team in Philadelphia. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Well, we're now talking about that. I did want to bring one thing up that does include the word talk. I have listened. Can you tell our audience more about Pilla Talk? How do you get a 5-star rating?
First of all, thanks for listening.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, damn, 5 stars. We got like 2.5. Like, come on. How do we do that?
We're trying to be a better podcast, and therefore we're listening to yours first. We're trying to grow as a group.
No, I really enjoyed it. It kind of started with the idea of like, I'm easily bored. I love what I do, and I know it's not everybody can say that they really truly love doing their job. And especially this year, I was even more grateful that I got to work the amount that I did, knowing how many people in my field didn't. So I'm very grateful that I got that opportunity. And I realized too, like, I just really like to talk. I love to tell stories. I love to talk to people. I love to dig for information. And I realize I sit on a lot of these great stories that a lot of times they can't make it into the sidelines. On the sidelines, I have max 15 seconds. And even then my producer's in my ear, like, you got to wrap it up. So I really have to try to get you, the audience, the most information in the short amount of time. But I do all this prep beforehand. And I have pages and pages of research. I talk to players, I talk to coaches, I talk to athletic trainers, and I find out these really interesting things. And I thought, you know what, like, maybe I just make my own podcast and interview the people that I know have really interesting stories to tell. And that kind of evolved into what my podcast is now, where I talk to not only athletes from NWSL, MLS, but I find some really obscure athletes. The one that just released was about this guy named Matt Thomas, who is a world champion chess boxer. So it is a new sport, chess boxing. Have you heard of it?
I've heard of this. I saw it on
No.
the Ocho. It was
It
on.
is
Yes,
insane.
I'm 100% for this event. I saw.
You
them
got to
'cause-
listen to this guy. He's so zen, and it's just so crazy. So what chess boxing is it's a round of chess for 3 minutes, a minute in between, 3 minutes of boxing, and like you either win by checkmate or knockout, and you continue until somebody gets a checkmate or knocks the crap out of you. And it's like, oh my Lord, why would you sign up to be mentally and physically abused?
It sounds like a
one
Buffalo
sitting?
Bills tailgate.
It's just, and he had such a great perspective on the sport. He actually grew up enjoying both, which to me seemed like a rarity. You know, how often is somebody both a fan of chess and a very good MMA martial artist? And so that's the kind of stories I like to tell. I also talked to Carly Lloyd about returning from her injury. I talked to Alejandro Bedoya about his definition of leadership. And, you know, it's a really simple word, but it carries a lot of weight to it. And we kind of dove into that subject too. And I talked to Susanna Collins and Jill Sakovitz from the Call Up at MLS, who are just two incredible people. And I love them so much. And we just had a lot of fun. So sometimes we kind of really dig and sometimes we just have fun, but it's just been so much fun to create. It definitely keeps me busy during the off season because the MLS off season may be considered short, but I get bored super fast. So I need more things to do.
I'm listening to the Colleen Wolfe
Oh
that you
my
just
gosh.
did, and
She
I'm
was
waiting.
one of my favorites.
I'm waiting for the question like, how are you still married to Gonzo? But that's a whole different, you know.
She's amazing. She just she has such an incredible story too. Like she was about to quit the industry. She was like doing wedding photography. And then she got this audition and she's like kicking ass at NFL Network, and she's just so fun and creative and unique. And I think that's what stands out about her. And she was just, me and her kind of virtually held each other and wept about the Eagles news. Because we filmed that the day he got fired unknowingly. So that kind of worked out.
I think we're more weeping about who they hired than who they fired, but that's a whole different podcast.
Look, I mean, hey, I'm excited about a guy I've never heard of before with an offense that was okay last year. That's fine. Cool. Yeah, sure. Cool.
You
cool,
sound
cool,
so
cool,
sincere.
What? Not even going to start. Just kind of curious. Man wins the Super Bowl for you, but 3 years later he's gone because you guys can't agree.
Yeah, I can't.
Is this show? Is this the EPL? Are we now the English Premier League?
I think I'm in like the denial stage of grief right now. So
now, Adam, we'll tie this in later. But you know, Jeff Lurie's been on one of our other owners' yachts, right? So there could be some Russian influence in Jeffrey Lurie's
This is
thinking.
6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. That is the Union. Oh man, yeah. So
and when Howie was in exile, he spent time at Stamford Bridge learning what they do.
I was assuming we were going to go get Nick Saban. Because I was just like, if you're going to fire Doug Peterson, then we're obviously getting something fantastic, right? Like we're getting, you know, Les Miles or one of the dudes. I don't want Dabo. We can leave Dabo in Clemson. That's fine. I don't really need that. He seems very fit for college, but I'm just saying, you know. But no.
They were interviewing this guy named Trip Kelly. He had a mustache. It was great. Yeah, like
Trip Trelly. Yeah, you know, he came from Los Angeles on an overnight red eye. Yeah, God. How did he also ruin UCLA? That's impressive work, man.
Yeah, usually it's Lori Loughlin. No, that was USC she ruined. Never mind. It's a whole different. So, Marisa, what can you... Now, we know the broadcast has got big news. We had Danny on. Tommy's decided to move on. We bring Danny in, which we think is going to be awesome. You got any inside tips on what's going to go on yet with the broadcast? I mean,
I honestly have no idea, and I actually even haven't been able to talk to Danny yet. So your guess is as good as mine right now. But you know, we always try to improve every year. We have a great producer director who does a lot, Jordan Strauss. He really has so much passion for what he does, and that makes our jobs a lot easier. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we said Jordan, Carl, those guys are great.
They're
Danny
great.
was great, and just that coming from Manchester and his outlook on life, and people from Manchester, like Philadelphia, are very, I guess the word sarcastic. So he fit right in. He basically told me he want to get me tickets to Mumford and Sons, but yeah, so.
No, he seems like a great guy, and I've only heard really amazing stuff about him. So I'm happy he's part of the crew.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to seeing what's new, and hopefully it's a little different. We kind of want you or Sebastian in the river end, not just on the sidelines. We kind of selfishly want people there next to Adam during goals, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we're pitching those ideas as much as we can.
Oh, that would be great.
I have to say it's a dangerous experience.
I would think I would have to keep my head on a swivel over there.
There's random elbows that are thrown. I occasionally drop a megaphone on someone's head. It's not great,
Yeah.
The word
you're painting a
clumsy.
beautiful picture now.
Look, I'm just trying to prepare you. We bought basketball players in there. I almost knocked out Christian Crosby that one time. Gritty did pretty okay though. Gritty seemed to hold his own.
Yeah.
No. Even though I felt Fang was just like, this is still my house, right? Like, I just want you to know, like, you're a guest.
We would make sure you were with a capo that was responsible with the smoke bombs.
Thank you.
So no Jared.
Yeah, not Jared.
Me 3 times.
You basically you just said Rob. That is the only responsible capo that we have is just Rob.
Oh man. So what's next for you? I mean, 2 years ago, NWSL, of course, the Union. What's the next big move that you can announce only on this pod?
I wish I had something to announce. I'm so sorry to disappoint.
SoundCloud.
I don't know. Right now, I'm just enjoying what I'm doing. And I think we can all kind of realize that 2020 helped us realize what we really do appreciate. And not that I never appreciated my job before, I always have, but it just made me enjoy it all the more. And especially even at the end of, the Union season to have games back in the stadium. I wasn't there when the fans were allowed back in, but I could hear everyone from the parking lot, and just that little sense of normalcy. I'm really hoping for more normalcy as the year goes on. Fingers crossed. So yeah, I'm just excited for, what is it, April 3rd? MLS is back.
Yeah.
That's kind of next on my horizon right now.
Which is that now MLS back 3.0? How many times are they going to use the MLS is back?
It's back.
Adam, is it 3.0 or?
You might be right. Yeah.
No, this is definitely
almost
MLS
like the
3.0.
Rocky series.
Yeah. They're going to keep using it as long as they just have the same T-shirt printing over and over again, just switching the year out. No, I mean, look, I'm excited about this. I'm also excited to not have a March 7th game because, dear God, if I have to do another 31-degreer, no, the first game of the season's always miserable, and it's always a tie.
Unbearable, and especially at our stadium and where our set is, we just catch the wind like it's nobody. I've had frozen tears running down my face. I've had people trying to get me those pocket hand warmers, and I'm shoving them in my feet. It's not fun. It's not fun for anyone. I have to have my makeup on and a nice coat, and it's just, I'd rather be, watching from inside. I feel like I'll be like that Bernie Sanders meme if we had one of those marks with the mittens.
Get the mittens, yeah.
Look,
I know.
These people want a
European
schedule. My God.
I know. So, Devin, do we want to get into some Union news and get Marissa's take on this?
Let's do it.
All right. So, everyone, Adam, big day in Union history on February the 10th.
Well, what? What's that?
That's when we get the draw.
Oh yeah, for that tournament we're in. I heard about this. This is good.
That
small town tournament.
That little tournament
Adam,
down in Guadalajara,
where Adam might be able to cash in his chip that he's been holding in his pocket about having a free charter flight with the team.
Oh, yeah, I get one roadie with the team this year, and I'm about to make it to Mexico. I'm just gonna be I'm
smart.
Yeah, I was thinking Portland. I'm like, nah. Let me do this right. Let me do this right. We're going to Tijuana, so let's do it. I'm excited to see.
I'm so excited to get back into a stadium again with more than 2,000 people. But yeah, to being able to travel behind the scenes, we've been planning working with someone to help us with travel because we're Cincinnati, new stadium. Columbus, new stadium. Austin, like there's so many places that I just want to go, let alone
Nashville.
a Portland, Nashville. Even though you're in the football stadium, Nashville is just
Great
a good
city.
time no matter
Yeah.
what. It's bachelorette parties with everyone wearing the same tank top. Adam, it ain't that good, man. It's not.
Any place where Dolly Parton sets up shop is a good place. Don't kid yourself.
I'll subscribe to that theory. Yeah.
So, MLS announced, I guess, the schedule. I mean, they gave you some blanket dates in MLS fashion of like, could be the 3rd, could be the 4th. Sometime in August, you're going to play a rival. But at least we got something, and we know it's happening in April. And Adam, this one's for you, my friend. In Union News, Wayne, Pennsylvania's own Matty Ice got a call up to the big boy team. So you know who he's got to face, Adam? The USA's biggest rival since the USSR, Trinidad and Tobago.
Let me tell you about them Trinidadians. I swear to God, fisticuffs coming down. No, I actually respect them more than most countries because they're just like, you're cute. We're going to beat you real quick and then knock you out of the World Cup. You okay with that? Is that good with you? All right, cool. No, legitimately. First off, shouts out to Wayne, Pennsylvania. Everybody drink. But it's such it's look, it's really dope actually knowing that Matt is going to play for the. I mean, like his talent. It's crazy because he's the 3rd stringer essentially on the Union's goalkeeping roster right now, but he's that good. And it's that noticeable how good that he is. Where Berhalter's like, yeah, come on now, and it's like again, shout out to Wayne because we only produce the best. Shout out Lisa Raymond, Matt Freeze, myself. We only do the best. So it's I'm hyped for him. I'm happy for him, and this gets the Union badge international, and that's what I'm here for the most. I'm like it gets our players and our system and our academy the proper recognition that it deserves because look, we produce in talent. It's not to be denied, and I think America is about to notice, and on a global scale very soon is about to notice.
And the thing with Matt Freeze, I don't know if we've really covered it on the podcast much, but like he does a lot off the field too. Like I mean, getting elected this past year for the I can't think of it off the top of my head, but
it's good producing, Devin. That's quality
this is
producing. Yeah,
he does so many great things that I cannot.
I can't
right
name
now,
one of them, but yeah,
he's just
a
great things.
You got to use catch-all phrases. Like he's just a good guy. He's just a good guy.
Take it away, Matt.
Well, at
this
least
is just gonna get cut right.
No,
here.
you're keeping
at least
every
I can rely
second
on
of this.
Adam. At least Adam could help me with a transition where he talked about global and international, so we can talk about the Union alumni.
Well, hold on.
I'm not even throwing the transition.
I have one more thing I want to throw in there before you enter that. Hold on a second. It doesn't have to do with Matt Freeze.
It's about other good stuff.
All the good things. There's so many of them. No,
you're like a Trump speechwriter.
Oh no!
Good job, Mr. Freeze.
Oh
no! Matt, we appreciate you a lot more than Devin is expressing right now. I want you to know this. You're actually a fine goalkeeper. We appreciate your many charities that Devin can't remember. That's what we're doing.
Oh boy. No. The other thing I wanted to talk about before we got off the topic of the Union is there's been a lot of hype around this year's jersey release, and I am very surprised that there have been no leaks. There has not been a single little piece of information. Whereas like usually, at this point we've got a few leaks and we have nothing.
You haven't seen it yet?
Shout out to whoever's on that board there and whoever's been designing this because they've been hyping it up for like 2 years now.
It is.
What, you mean you didn't see this yet? No, I'm just kidding.
No, shout out to whoever's been hyping it up, and you got a lot to live up to now because I think it might get to the level of like overhype. So
look, you got to think there's no bimbo. That has to be a part of this equation because the way people are talking about, there can't be a bimbo on this thing. They're talking about like this is like the second coming. So we gotta figure that. My prediction here, because I have no inside information, I've been trying to cattle prod Ryan Ross for months, and he gives me nothing. Absolutely nothing. He gives me everything. Like every single scarf design or tifo design that has happened in the last 3 years, I have seen at 3 a.m. on my cell phone, because Ryan Bros sends it to me via chat. He has sent me no information about this jersey, and I'm upset. But I have a feeling in my bones the khaki comes back.
Ooh.
Can't confirm or deny that.
The khaki comes
But
back. First
I
off,
do know
you with your
people that-
insider information, I barely trust you half the time, because you tell me you got stuff and then it ain't stuff, and I'm over here perplexed about what you think you know.
I haven't physically seen it, but it's been described to me. And Adam, you're
How
gonna want
ominous.
this. You're gonna want
Wow,
this, Adam.
okay. How to say nothing but say something.
That was a lot better than Matt Freeze good.
Matt Freeze, good person. Bad person,
The good
good
stuff.
camera.
He do good things.
He do good.
Glass
Matt
house
Freeze.
over here. Don't start throwing pebbles just yet.
No, I'll take it from here, Devin. Matthew, what the hell? No,
well, I just wanted to talk alumni. You know,
I'm hype. I'm hype. I wanna see this jersey because I'm a jersey snob. I didn't get this year's jersey because I rebelled. I rebelled against the 25th anniversary jersey because MLS took so long to get us in here, so I feel like we shouldn't be wearing one of those to begin with. And of course, we win a championship in it. So, I'm an intelligent person as usual,
But maybe that's why.
So I need to not buy jerseys from here on out. Damn.
I mean, it's a theory to test.
We'll try it next year. I'm going to buy them all.
Greater cause.
When we win MLS Cup, when I bought 3 jerseys in one season, that's going to have to be the new move.
Somewhere Tim McDermott's like, no, make him buy jerseys. We need the revenue.
He hasn't called me for the Super Toy Run yet, Matthew. When is this happening?
Do I have to get on him about that now?
I'm just saying, man, me on a tricycle doing the Super Toy Run through the Union Shop is gold content for all people involved. I don't know why they don't want this.
He loved the idea. He just didn't go forward. So we just got to remind him,
Platitudes.
Well, but maybe we can get Marisa to cover that. Her and Seba can be like set up on a stand and cover you versus John Light on tricycles raiding the Union Shop. That's the kind of content we need,
You need to get out of my dreams, Matthew. It's very invasive what you're doing right now.
Can we get back to the alumni?
Yeah, sure.
We've been waiting like 10 years for this academy to produce people. And on Saturday, Sunday, I don't even remember, I'm so discombobulated, we got to see 2 of our academy guys play in Europe. Now, Mark got to start, which is great. They got the L, but I couldn't find anything. I don't know if you guys could. I downloaded
watched,
the app.
Bits and pieces of it. He had a very neutral game. He had some really good like goal saving blocks. He also had a couple of not so good moments. But so I think they all just kind of even out.
It's a push.
Okay, because I downloaded the app and apparently it's only in Flemish, so I was just out from there.
Yeah, I had to use a very sketchy stream link that I am still not sure if my computer has died yet.
So wait, so ESPN hasn't bought out the Belgian league yet? We haven't gotten that far with my ESPN Plus subscription. What the hell am I paying for?
Oh, we'll get to that later on down in the notes. We're going to talk about your Comcast, what you're paying for, buddy.
Not much.
Here's some changes coming on. But speaking of broadcast, and Marisa, I would love to know if you saw this. Did you get to see, and this was from, let me get it right, For the Fans Network covered the Brendan Aronson game. And I had to get it through, I don't know how I got it through my television, but there was an American and English broadcast of that game where...
No, I couldn't find it. I was just kind of following along like on Twitter as best I could because I couldn't find a link to it.
This was gold. One from the volleyball that kept popping up on the screen instead of a soccer ball. That as a former volleyball coach and player, I was just like, yeah, this is great because it was like Austrian Bundesliga, and it was just this red and white volleyball. It just kept coming at the screen at you. And then there was a halftime show. And Adam, I don't know how we don't corner the market on this. It was a guy has a blog pod or something called the Other Bundesliga. and it was a British guy that I guess lives in Austria. And he had a Red Bull jersey and some other jersey, and he just talked about the Austrian Bundesliga during the whole halftime. They gave him like the whole 15-minute segment, and he was like in his closet. And I'm going, how do we not do this? We've got closets.
Can I talk about how amazingly, like, if we had this pandemic maybe like 6 years ago, how much more difficult all of this would have been. You know, like if we were just doing this in like 2013, this would have been a disaster. Like none of us would have been able to figure out anything remotely close to a Zoom call. You know, like we would have not had any of this coverage. Everything would have had to shut down because nothing could have functioned remotely the way that we have it in 2020/2021. Because you see chaos, I see beauty in a dude in a closet somewhere in Salzburg covering the Austrian soccer league for us in English. That is the future that I wanted to live in.
I'm not seeing chaos. I'm seeing missed dollar signs.
No one's going to pay us to be
this?
in the closet, Matthew. They actually have real broadcasters to do these. We're not taking Marissa's job, sir, by sitting in a closet.
Listen, everyone's got homework. For the Fans Network, we're all going to watch it. We're all going to come back, and we're going to do our own pod about For the Fans Network and break it down frame by frame.
What I'm really going to do is me and Marissa are going to take over the Quidditch League broadcast because I wanted to mention the fact that I actually have some collegiate Quidditch background. Because St. Joe's got a team, so I was here for that. Yeah. I was here for that.
I did a whole journalism school project on the Quidditch team.
Look, I loved the idea that someone was just like, I have an idea. We're gonna do this, and then every third Division I school in America said yes. The University of Texas agrees with you, and we're in.
What position were you, Adam?
Bludger.
Oh, okay. Like the Weasleys, huh?
Oh yeah. No, I'm only here to hurt people. I am not here to score any points whatsoever. It's like my soccer career.
So to wrap up, Brendan got in about 60. I want to say it was the 61-minute mark, and 30 seconds later they scored. But they had a big win. He looked good. Now, Devin, did you see this or?
I did not see the Brendan game.
Someone's got to see and just verify it for me because Brendan looked as big and as tall as every other player, which you're not used to. In the MLS, he looked like he was smaller, slighter, and get beat up. I'm watching, I'm going, oh man, maybe they smaller in Austria. But like he looked like a full adult male when he was playing against these guys, and I'm like, okay, this kid's gonna crush over there then. So that was my and Jesse Marsh really does look like Rusty Aronson. I am convinced now that they are doppelgangers.
Look, Brendan's gonna have that Jason Tatum where he just grows 6 inches in the course of like one off season. We're just gonna be like, what the hell? Like I feel like that's what's happening now. It's just like all these athletes are just like, you know what? I got about 3 more inches in me. I'm only 20, and then just sprout up like that. Because remember Brendan, the first time he megged Guzan, he looked so tiny out there, but now, that's a grown man.
Yeah. All right. So other news, Devin. This is the fun one where you may have to edit Marissa's comments out so she doesn't get in trouble. But MLS collective bargaining. Oh boy. We just had the ISC meeting where we got a message from the Players Association. So I'm not going to say much, but the only thing I loved was apparently the commish tweeted out a letter to the fans about how this, that, and the other thing. And the best reply was, Adam, did you see the reply as you get up?
What was that?
The MLS Players Association replies, at us next time. Apparently they haven't been talking, so...
I love the new age of social media where entire organizations can have spats over it, where you're just like, the entire MLS Players Organization said, can you at us? Like they're just a disgruntled teenager who just got called out. Like, I love this. Also, it shows how petty everyone is.
Oh, yeah. So the collective bargaining agreement's going on, and I guess the only thing we should all say is we hope it all works out. Is that safe enough, Marissa?
Agreed.
Okay, good. Now, Adam, here's the stuff where we can get into because our guest has worked for this organization, so we can talk about your friends across the street from you.
What's up?
Comcast
My neighbor
is axing the number 2 ranked sports network in North America to go to streaming or to boost that USA network that I guess WWE Raw wasn't doing so well, so they wanted to put NHL and NASCAR on it.
Matt. I think the WWE's on Fox now. I think they moved to Fox.
No, it's not on USA.
No, it's on Fox. They're on
All of them?
Friday nights
Womp.
on Fox.
Womp.
Damn.
Yeah.
USA Network, good.
No, but but the USA is about to get both. What, NASCAR is going there and hockey's going to go there. So like,
Hockey's
Yeah.
going
big
there.
boost to
This
USA.
has such a massive effect. Like, the part of it is like USA probably has more TVs in the nation than NBCSN does, so that probably factored into it. But I think this does have not only a major thing with soccer, like hockey was a very big part of NBCSN, but being able to wake up and throw Premier League Live on the TV in the morning and not have to like fumble with Peacock was a fantastic thing. And I would hope that they keep all of that on a channel somewhere, but the it seems like it's sliding in the other direction towards a certain streaming app. So
Do they still have the Outdoor Life Network?
That became NBC.
Oh, is that what that was? I just,
That became
Versus. Yes, I just remember that
Outdoor
terrible
Life.
period of hockey after they
Yes.
dropped by ESPN and had no home and were just nomadic.
Yeah, so it looks like EPL will go to Peacock, which I'm confused on how that even works for bars. Because let's face it, I mean, the pubs in the morning is what got people really involved in English Premier League, like that atmosphere. And then people got lazy and would just watch it at home when they could get it on their regular TV. What happens to the bars?
see,
Can
and
they
the
get
thing
that?
is, like, they were doing a very good job with it. I mean, it's not like this was like some backyard thing that the broadcasting level was very low, and so they're just cutting it. And everything that was produced on NBCSN was very well done, and Premier League has been thriving on NBCSN. It like I get it because it's probably some sort of business decision that a bunch of bigwigs made, but it to a consumer it does not make any sense.
Well, to break it down and forgive me if I don't get it exactly right. Let's say Peacock cost you $4.99 a month to have NBCSN on your cable package. It's about 42 cents a month in your cable bill.
Mhm.
So just figure that out in Comcast mind. That's where it goes to there, and they're trying to build a streaming network to compete with Disney Plus and the Discovery Plus and the Union Plus and everything else that we're going to have soon.
I mean, who's going to take them though? Like ESPN intentionally dropped hockey because it wasn't making them anything, and they doubled down on college football was their replacement. Like legitimately, ESPN went from we're going to show you games to we're going to be a journalistic entity for games to we're in bed with all of the leagues now, so now we have to just show the ones that make us money. That was the natural progression of ESPN, and it's happening to a lot of these sports networks because here's the thing: now you can boutique shop. You don't have to wait for ESPN to show you soccer on Sunday when it's trying to show you badminton and bowling on Sunday. Like it's not. You can boutique shop your programming, and that's what they're offering you. It's just kind of an annoying interface, is what they're offering you. But it's just like at this point, I'm annoyed only because it means now I have Disney Plus, now I have ESPN Plus, now I have Discovery Plus, and now I have this, and on to me regularly having my Comcast overlords. That bothers me. But beyond that, like economically, if we live in a capitalistic society, and this makes complete sense to me. They're obviously going to squeeze that for every last dollar. Maybe they'll lose some fans, but the problem is they probably won't lose enough for it to be a problem.
Yeah, I mean the world's going to streaming, so you figure people. And if you've got Comcast, you've got Peacock anyhow. So now you can cut Comcast, just keep Peacock, and you can still watch the Premier League. I don't know. It's a crazy world. So Marisa, we do cover a very little bit of Premier League during this pod. Do you have a horse in the race that is the Premier League, or are you just strictly Serie A?
I like to, well, because you guys know how stressful it can be to be a Philly sports fan.
Oh, yeah.
So it's emotionally draining at a certain point to put your heart into a team. And I feel like I had to protect myself on certain levels to not get so invested in something else that could potentially crush and ruin me. So from that point of view, from Serie A, I pay attention to Juventus because that's my uncle's team, and Inter Milan because that was my dad's team. And in Premier League, I just try to enjoy. I try to find the best stories that are going on right now and just enjoy it, because it's very rare that I can just put on a game and have no emotional attachment and it won't ruin my day due to the outcome. Now, of course, there's always teams I'm pulling for. I'll like really be rooting for one team one season, one team maybe another, or even just game to game. But I had to protect myself because fandom wise, I go hard when I when I ingrain myself, and you guys know how it is. It can be tough sometimes. I didn't need additional serious heartbreak.
As a person who's
Speaking
been
of heartbreak, Adam,
I've been
look what our
burned
Chelsea
by-
squad just did.
Whoa, no, I was going to tell her how much I've been burned by my Italian squad that is now in Serie C because of corruption's a fun thing. Forza Palermo, let's go.
Oh God.
Yeah, no, it's fun. My girlfriend's from Palermo, so I've adopted her team, and they were right on the cusp of going from B to A. So I'm like, okay, cool. Get to watch them on ESPN. I'm happy for best jerseys that Inter Miami stole the entire color scheme for, but that's another conversation. And then, so we have some corruption issues, so we're going to go to Series C. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's cool. Oh, by the way, we didn't fill out the paperwork in time for Series C, so we're going to go to Series D, and we have to become an amateur squad. I'm sorry, what? But
see, I just don't need another level of that.
oh no, that's worse to me than most things. I don't know how I got caught up in that, but I was just like, I will go back to the Phillies after this. What the hell is wrong with this thing?
Well, Italians tend to do things a little more complicated. If you ever been to an Italian airport, I'm not sure how those things take off and land. So,
oh, Venice.
I have on another after the pod. I'll tell you about Palermo's airport and how fun that place is.
oh God.
So we only cover two teams on this pod mostly because Adam and I are we're beloved Chelsea fans, and for different reasons. I've been a fan since before the Russian owned them, so it's not like jumping on the bandwagon. But speaking of bandwagon jumpers, Devin over here is a fan of Tottenham, so he probably liked them when they had one good year, you know.
Wow. That's the facial expression I got.
Did you see her face?
I know this is not a
did
visual
you
medium.
See her
but
face
man.
when she heard Tom. I saw all of the muscles tense. Where the ooh, just a sour lemon, just a sour lemon.
I am sorry.
So yeah, there's a lot of heartbreak in
that
this.
Was so good.
So so Adam, FA Cup.
New year, new coach.
We have to play that powerhouse Luton Town. And we do what we're supposed to do. Tommy gets a hat trick, you know, everything's good.
Kepa lets a goal in because he's incompetent. Yeah, you know, same old, same old. Sunrise, sunset.
Yeah. But what happens? New York NYUFU legend Frank Lampard gets fired.
Look, I thought that this strapping young lad who cut his teeth in MLS would, you know, make it in the big, bad Premier League. But apparently, you know, he wasn't cut out like the other dude. What's his name? Zlatan? Yeah, that was an MLS star that we could really trust. Now, look, it sucks when you make a club legend your coach, because that can only end in like 3 ways, and 2 of them are pretty bad. So it's like, you know, either he wins everything from you, he's Sir Alex Ferguson and he's there for 30 years, or you're going to cut him and feel some heartbreak somewhere around the line. It's like, you know, this...
And then you taint that memory.
Right?
You taint that.
Like, and that's the worst
It's just
part.
not worth it.
I never want Allen Iverson to coach the Sixers. Not because I just know...
No, I don't think he ever would.
I know he's too incompetent, really, at this point to actually be a coach. Great player, not necessarily a coach. But, like, I don't want you to ruin that for me. I don't need...
Yeah.
You know, I don't think anyone in...
Just exist in the bubble that I love you for.
The Phoenix Suns don't want Steve Nash to coach them. I know this. Like, I deep down know they do not want that as a coach. They don't want that beautiful Canadian to be tarnished in their minds.
Yeah, so within about a 2-week period, we lose Doug Peterson, Frank Lampard. I'm sitting there playing Sarah McLachlan songs, like just crying in my pillow. It was just
Jim Curtin's
it was
our
just a
longest
rough
tenured coach.
couple weeks, Adam.
Yeah, but we've had Jim Curtin longer than anyone else in our lives now. I'm still getting used to Doc Rivers. That's been an interesting experience. I think it's good. I'm here for it, but like I'm getting used to it. Joe Girardi is the Phillies manager. That still doesn't feel like a real sentence to me.
That's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
That's really weird to me still.
That's weird.
I mean,
Is
Doc
it weird
Rivers
I
being
like
the
him,
Sixers
though?
coach is weird, but still.
Like when he talks, when Joe talks, I go, "Oh, I like this guy." Where before, when he talked, I would shut the TV off. I'm like, I don't want to listen to
Well,
you.
it's the hat.
It's the pinstripes. The pinstripes
Yeah,
make it
different
makes
color
people sound
pinstripes.
annoying instantaneously when they wear Yankee pinstripes. Like I just doesn't matter what it is. But no, like, and we go from I love how we go from Charlie Manuel, who is just the most jovial man who's ever existed, and we go to Gabe Kapler and then Joe Girardi. We're just like, we need chiseled jaw lines now. We just need men that just look like they can take charge. That's all we're doing here in Philly.
Now, speaking of men that take charge, Devin, are you guys ever going to get rid of Dele Alli? Oh, sorry, that's
Bring him to Philly. Let him be our 10.
Yeah. No, he is. I think he's about done with his Tottenham career.
No,
It sounds like here's the fun storyline. So Mauricio Pochettino takes over PSG, and it sounds like they're trying to get a deal together for Dele Alli to go to PSG to be reunited with Poch there. So
please.
there's that.
I just love there's a love triangle between PSG, Chelsea, and Tottenham now.
There it is.
It's
6
just
degrees
all
of
tied
Kevin
in
Bacon,
perfectly
that's
for
all
this
it is.
pod.
Hey, maybe Christian Pulisic, feels comfortable now with his old manager.
You watch your step.
Well, he feels comfortable in tank tops on sofas, so I guess he's
Well.
comfortable everywhere.
Yeah, there's that.
I like GQ. I don't know, man. Maybe y'all just don't have the artsy styles of jeans and tank tops. We're still doing that now. This is 95 again. We're still doing that. All right, cool.
He looked like the cover of Wham. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That was very George Michael-y. I felt that.
Devin, Wham's a band in the 80s with George Michael.
That's actually real though. There's a good chance you don't know who Wham is, Devin. So I will give Matt that. Sometimes he's an asshole.
I plead the fifth here.
That might be one.
Devin, they had a shout out in the movie Deadpool. Wham. You might have seen it there. That was the joke that you didn't get in the Deadpool movie.
Thank you, Matt.
Oh man, cattle prod us, Devin. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah, Devin, do we have anything else to catch up on?
I was muted.
I saw that.
I thought you said good.
Oh god, this is high level producing, people. This is
fantastic.
week in, week out. The reliability of a Devin.
Marissa is going to go back to Jordan and hug him when she sees from this production value to Union TV.
No, you guys were great.
Oh no, my camera's
thank you
fantastic.
so much
That's
for
all I got.
hopping on.
No, thanks for having me.
And let us know if Richie Graham picks up Pilla Talk, because we've been trying to get picked up by the Richie Graham Big Pod Network, and so far only Mark
All right, I'll let
McKenzie's
you know.
only Mark McKenzie's broken through, and we're like, come on, Richie, hire us.
I'll let you know for sure. I'll keep you in the loop.
Appreciate it. Marissa, thank you so much again. Gents, this was episode number Ricky Botalico.
51.
2 in the books.
52. My God. Sorry, Chooch. 52. 51. Anyway, bye.
Wash your hands.